Hello everybody. So today's video is going to be on two different ways of using the pentatonic scale. The first one I'm going to do is I'm going to play over a backing track in the key of A minor. And I'm going to use the A minor pentatonic scale over the entire chord progression. So what I did is I looked at the A minor pentatonic scale, looked at the 5 notes A, C, D, E, and G, and I created the chords in the progression from strictly those 5 notes. So that means that my scale now has all my chord tones, and I'm not going to have any conflicting notes. So technically the entire scale will work over that chord progression. If you want to try doing this, the best way is start with the pentatonic scale that you're going to use, then take those notes, create the chords from just those notes, and then create a backing track if you can, and then solo over that chord progression with that pentatonic scale. So it's one of the more simple ways for those of you that are just starting to learn to use the pentatonic, because you can stay in one position. So what I'm going to use is A minor pentatonic form 1, which starts on the low E string at the 5th fret. Like all pentatonics, it's 2 notes per string. So starting on the low E, we're playing frets 5, 8, then 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8. And so now I'm going to use that to solo over this chord progression. And the chords in it are A minor, C major, G sus4, C add 9, back to A minor. Then we have D sus4, D7 sus4, we have a G5 in there, and it's going to resolve back to A minor. So several chords that all came out of that pentatonic scale, and now I'm going to use that scale over those chords. So again, for those of you that are new to the pentatonics, just pick a pentatonic scale, pick a form that you're comfortable with, create some chords out of that pentatonic. You don't have to use as many as I did. Start with maybe just 3 or 4 chords, and then try using that one form of the pentatonic over the entire progression. So now what I'm going to do next, let me change my backing track. So the next one here is going to be also in the key of A minor. The chords are going to be A minor, C major, the G major, back to A minor. So in this one, for the A minor and the C chord, I'm going to use the A minor pentatonic form 1 that I just used. But for the G chord, I'm going to move. I'm going to use an E minor, G major pentatonic, and it's going to be form 4. And that is played starting on the low E at the 7th fret. Again, 2 notes per string. So your fret numbers are going to be 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 9, 8, 10, 7, 10. So this means, of course, I've got to shift back and forth, which is a good thing to practice, because you don't want to be stuck in one position all the time. So here we go with our next backing track. another option, another way of using the pentatonics, depending on what your chord progression is. If you have a group of chords, and especially if they change keys, or you just have a group of chords where you can't use the same scale over everything, then you learn to shift your positions. Now, you could shift back and forth and use the exact same form, just in different positions, so it puts you into a different key. Or like I did, I went into two different pentatonics, one A minor, one G major, and used two different forms. Eventually, the goal is to get to the point where you can play back and forth across the fretboard and know all of the different forms in whatever key you want to play in. So that's the basics for today's lesson. The next time, I think I'm going to do one that is a bit more advanced. We'll use a lot more chords, and we'll use more forms of the pentatonic. So again, if any of you have any questions about pentatonic scales or anything else, feel free to message me anytime. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.